Alrighty. Do 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 do. Play, everybody. Getting going. Yay! Notifications that I'm live. Even though it's been going on for the past like 10 minutes. It's the final countdown. Da-da-dun-dun. Da-dun-dun-dun. Get these pens out of the way. Yeah. Oh my gosh, ShiftyCat, she's live now too, people. Alright, that means I'm gonna refresh the yellow screen. Come on, bring it on over. Boom. Ready to receive chat messages from. All right, I don't think your all chat's working. Just letting you know that.
I got it.
Oh, you got
it.
Oh, you did? Oh, there it is. Just really, really strong delay. Okay.
Yep. I got it.
Neat. Alright, I'm gonna just go into the transition.
I appreciate the blip.
You're welcome. It's nice to test things out. And it's good to see that your all chat is working, so. Because I think last time when you were on, it was just bugging out and it just didn't want to. So at least we've established.
I'm just letting it go for a minute before I turn my audio on my side so it can all set up. Alright, so I'm going to be working with trying to keep it up, your stream up on my second screen, while also working with my reference on that screen. But you know, I can manage this. Just work from your reference, you're fine.
I know, but it's nice to look over and like, oh yeah, look at that, and then make comments on your drawings. So hi everybody, welcome. So I'm taking a break on the Star Trek one for the streaming purposes of what August 7th is going to be here before I know it. Oh.
It is, isn't it?
What's that?
It is, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
time flies by when you're making art. Yeah, like this week I did not get done the my time-lapse background inking, and I was actually doing it in reverse. And it's mainly because of how ambitious I was. I took the other two pictures I took of your living room, and I put them side by side, and was like, I'm gonna make both of these at once. And then I went, oh my goodness. I haven't even got past your bookcase because there's so many things. But you know, like, it's because like I'm gonna take 15 minutes here, draw what I can in, 15 minutes here, and then for like the past like few days I haven't even gone back to that piece yet. So yeah, it's because I really want to get to it. It's one of those things I really want to get to it, but other things keep getting in the way.
Happening. I get it.
That's how it works, doesn't it? Isn't that
life? I live my life
gets
day to day without any planning anymore, so I get it. It's very hard.
Well, even mine's kind of impromptu, but yeah, I'm doing enamel pin designs today, so all fun.
Welcome everyone. I'm just letting everything set up. Letting it all go. I totally reset and logged in and out of my Streamlabs, so hopefully my all chat will work this time. And I actually selected it down from the stream inputs through the Streamlabs thing this time, so we'll see, since they had it in there this time. Who knows? Slight change to my background just because I wanted some stars.
Because you are a star, Kayla. Yes, star, girl. Gosh, I wish I had like some star effects. Like, the more you know, that's a good star effect. We all need that.
Oh, I don't think I told you, for the Omori stream, I don't know if it's gonna be possible to do it, but on like the Wikipedia pages, they have some of the GIF assets of the game, like sprites and other things.
Really?
I was gonna add them to the layout for animation because they look kind of cool. I just don't know if I can use them. I doubt it. I'm not making any money from these, but it looked neat on the layout that I gave you. Just have little repeating pictures.
I'm trying to remember where the layout got put.
Yeah, like I uploaded.
Did you send that like in
GIFs
Facebook Messenger on me again?
Yeah.
Dang it.
I think so. Sorry.
I knew it.
I don't have Discord on my phone anymore. I might have to re-download it because it would blow up every time I tried. Basic bitch like me.
You don't have to. But if you want to use my BoogieMan emojis,
Where am I?
I was very proud of getting those done. I can use them in anything now.
They're cute.
Well, just like how I used it on the thumbnail for the enamel pin design. We'll see. Yeah, and you know, if people like this, maybe I'll sit down and actually design a better, like, this is how I did it from beginning to end. Blop! And then done in 10 minutes. When really it took like several hours and many outtakes of me going, F this, F that. Why can't I say this one simple word? Why do I go effing making this harder on myself? You know, typical creative design language. No. I'm not that aggressive. Despite being a ginger. But yeah, once the camera's off and the microphone, or pretty much just when the camera is off, I'll cuss up a storm. I'm a terrible person like that. Kayla can tell you. I mean, I keep thinking like the best reference of how terrible of a human being I am is everything I have done in being human, and I haven't even finished that game yet. I think I peaked right at that bridge scene, and that was about it. I can't do any better. I can't top that moment. And yes, I bring up an old wound. Haha. Alright. I think technically everything is going as expected. Think so? Oh, that's right. My reference picture doesn't want to load up. Because it's a jerk.
I'm extremely tired from having my first vaccine and other reasons, so if I sound tired, I apologize.
Yeah, she sounds as drunk as I did when I did it. When I got the vaccine. Both times.
I'll rename my stream when I'm done.
All I want is this reference picture to finish loading. Why does it keep messing with me? It does not want to give me any of these. Sorry, I've been at this, like, getting this reference picture to show up, like, any of them, for a while now. I don't understand it. Hey, look, I draw and I do graphics and everything, but I can't get a picture to load up on a web page.
There's very valid reasons for that happening. Switch over to my screen.
I bet you it's like, because I have so many things
I got
open.
the flower crown done.
Yeah, it's so pretty. People go look at it. It's so pretty. She's the flower child. Is she?
He. He.
They are the flower child. I'm not gonna put any title on them. I'm just they are the flower child.
This is technically part 2 of the stream. Ignore the title. It just doesn't like to change for me when I set it up, and I don't know why, and that's fine because I'm probably gonna be getting Restream or Streamlabs Prime. I don't know when soon. When I can focus on some things other than everything happening my way right now. So yes, we are drawing Basil the flower child.
This is well. I wish I could have found my encyclopedia, Hyrule Encyclopedia. I really do. This would have been a heck of a lot easier. But,
Nathan is working on some enamel pin designs.
yeah, Nintendo don't hurt me. I'm doing Hyrule Shield and Sword. I'm modifying it a bit, but still nonetheless. The Hyrule Sword and Shield.
Somehow they might appreciate the fact that you have noticed that every single game rendition, except for a couple, is different.
Mm-hmm. And that's... But, you know, again, there's clearly a favorite of mine. And it's the N64 Ocarina of Time. And not only that, but I really like the speculation and like the game theories on what the fourth Triforce piece is that's on the shield that's upside down. I mean, I could nerd out right now. And like me thinking is like, well, in the Link to the Past, you know, there is a parallel universe. Sorry, spoiler. That's what that is. It's a parallel universe.
If people haven't played at least one Legend of Zelda game by now, that's their own damn fault.
Yeah, but Link to the Past has a very unique story. Or not Link to the Past, but Link Between Worlds has a very unique story.
and how the how your character, and like not only that, but it's like one of the first games where you start like, I have to buy the hook shot, I have to buy this to get. Why am I buying all these equipment instead of just going to a dungeon to get them? There's a reason, big old reason. But parallel universes exist in Hyrule. It's a big deal. It's quite exciting. Which then makes
The
you even
title
think that...
kind of gives that away, too.
The what does?
The title.
Oh, yeah. Well, but see, that's the thing, is like, they said link between worlds, and then they made it like, oh, look, I become a painting version, and he slides onto a wall, and which slides around. It's like, oh, I see.
It's a big play
between,
on
like...
expectations and words.
Exactly, but then when you get into the story, you go, oh, shit. I see. Oh. It's quite something. Matter of fact, I kind of want to go play it again. Pull out that DS and crank it. Yeah.
Don't they have it for the Switch?
They probably do, but I'd have to rebuy it then. I still have my DS. Sorry, people. I could just do this. Transition over. And look, see, I've already drawn out the shield. I drew my design of shield, and it looks very much like everyone else's, except for there's a few differences on purpose. Because I don't want to copy it exactly. It's a parody of it in some form. See? It's not bad. That's how we work this. But yeah, Hyrule Shield. Very heavily taking from Ocarina of Time and then a few others. Excuse me, my goodness. There, I had to clear out my throat. What I get for eating chips before stream starts.
That's okay. It might be back and forth between eating and stuff too, just because I just got food. And if I don't eat now, I don't ever get to spend any time with Josh afterwards. So.
Yeah, see, I'm probably gonna go.
Goes to bed at like 7 o'clock. So.
Dang! Well, it's not like I shouldn't be going to bed early too. To go to the nice day job, which is more of like a morning job. It's not during the day really. It's during the during the morning.
All of the time.
But kind of give an idea. This is all the shields through time. Somebody great on Tumblr had posted it and then shared, and then there's a bunch of shares. And then I found the shared post of shared, so I don't know who made it. But they're a great person. I appreciate their work. That's just the reference I went off of. And there's if you can't tell right now, there's clearly a few differences in my design. Mainly size, shape of things, and my Triforce is squished on purpose. My bird is a little bit bigger on purpose. And this design that I made gosh. Come on. Aha. Doesn't do this. It's just a clear arch from tip to bottom of the tip. So that's why mine's a little bit different. So again, don't hurt me, Nintendo. So in this case, I have to do the same thing with a sword, because the idea is I'd like to make these enamel pens and make it as a set for everyone. You know,
Here's a nice sword. Here's a nice shield. But if you bind them together, all the better. So this is part of, you know, my design ideas. I really liked it. Now, I'm gonna actually go backwards in time, back to a time where I was ignorant, and, well, probably not that. That was probably like 5 minutes ago I was ignorant of most things, but now I'm not. I'm babbling.
I may mute myself here and there because I am eating as well, so
Neat. Oh,
I apologize.
hey, look at that. All of the emojis. I forgot that that's the one I had selected last. Hey, everybody. Here's a bit of emojis. So, I use Illustrator to do the vector portion of this job. But then I use Krita to actually do the sketches. And then I use Photoshop for photo editing. It's like I use each one for their own separate purpose. Why I have so many? I use After Effects, Premiere.
Why did I do that?
I need to use After Effects more. It's very easy to make a GIF in After Effects if you know how to use the tools. But I use when it comes down to the Star Trek characters too, Kayla, I'm gonna be making them in Illustrator. As a matter of fact, I just decided like I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make Ginge and some of the other main characters. It's like because I'm done trying to just hand draw them every single time. I'm gonna design them as vector in the forward facing 3/4 side panel, and then the side 3/4 behind, and then back, and just create that, and then create a bunch of mouth shapes and eyebrow shapes and whatever I need for the moment. If it's a mid shot, I have them from the waist up, and I can then give them the facial expression I need. And this is me going back to like the old school, like I should just do it like I would in animation. I'd create all these shapes and everything, and then if you wanted to animate a mouth morph, you'd actually just create a bunch of little sliding bars. So it's like, how much of an A do I need? How much of an E shape do I need? And you just change the percentage and have the whole thing tween in between everything for you. Tween for you. Because it's great. Like that.
That's a nice strategy to have.
So this way I can focus less on the actual I have to draw this, and not only that, but I want consistency of the design of the characters, because I was like all over the place before. Because like I'd use it, I draw this quickly in Krita, I draw this, you know, like over in like, you know, Photoshop to get a certain thing. I'd do a portion of them in Illustrator, which then made the lines look completely different because they're nice and clean instead of jittery. Because I did them very quickly and everything. But and all right, so here's the main thing I was trying to bring up. Learn from what I did in the past. And it's costly actually for every color, because like what is it? The company that I worked with, which I will say right now, they do not sponsor me. They did not sponsor me. I didn't bother to ask them. They're just the company I work with. I made this first set with them, and it was mainly a test to see what I can make and what I want. But this is from back in the day. But every color past 3 costs 16 cents each. So
If you call about 2 years ago back in the day.
And like of course like quantity makes a big difference. So if you know how many you want to have on hand, because like of the baby Octorok that I have here up on my screen, I have 100 of them. But I also have 100 of the mommy and daddy. And Yeah. Okay, I did make the baby an inch. Where did I slide it off to? I kept them close by on purpose. Oh, they're face down over here. So just like that, these all became pins. So I just want to go over a little bit and remember some of the stuff I learned. And I'm kind of pushing the limits with my idea of how the Hyrule sword and shield will work as a pin set. Because I really need to get in contact with them. Exactly. I'm going to use their magnet design. The magnet clutches that they have as an option. And as long as the north and south of the magnet is exactly as I expect, if you all remember back in the day playing with magnets in elementary school or any time in your life, or even now, I'm not going to judge. If you play with magnets now, you're still cool. I think it's awesome. I wish I had more magnets, but I'd probably ruin everything I own.
I like pushing the magnets across the table with the
oh my gosh,
opposing force.
The dust. I ruined something with that dust. Actually, I ruined the magnets because ideally, if you're gonna use that like magnetic dust to like see the nice spiky effects and all that, don't put it directly on the magnet. It's very hard to remove every speck of it, and it's very hard to make that magnet work afterwards because it gets kind of weird with a bunch of dust on it.
Really, Nathan?
I ruined a magnet because I didn't
really.
I was not really thinking. I was more of like experimenting, and I was really curious. So, like the dumb kid I was, I went, what's this do? And I put a few specks on it, and I go, oh, that's interesting. How about the whole bag? So I dumped a dust of like the magnetic dust onto a magnet, and I went, that's so cool. And then I decided I better clean this up. I better clean this off. Oh shit. Yeah. So anyways, what the bigger point is remembering the north and south, you know, the ends of a magnet. So for attraction and everything, I would have to get in touch with this company and go, it's very crucial that the front of the face of it and the back of it are exactly the same, because, you know, opposites attract. So if it's a north and front, and north side on the front and a south side on the back, it needs to be the same on the sword, and then the same on the clutch. Well, the clutch can flip whichever way it wants, but the two enamel pins have to be, in order to clasp together, they have to be in the same direction, for front and then backs. At least that's how I sat there and fiddled around and did all the... I literally drew out a diagram and I go, alright, if the north side's here and the south side's on this side, the clasp would actually flip around and do this, then I have to have the same thing for this. It was just like a minute's worth of just sketching. Like, that's how it has to be. But anyways, but these ones I have rubber clutches, which are really nice. Matter of fact, one of the big things I'd even say that I was all about in the first, like, before I even ordered from them, before I designed anything, was the pin on the back. I kept thinking, like, I know how many people dislike spinning of their pins, and even I do when I have my pins. This company assured me that these won't spin. And for the most part, I know exactly why, and it's because of how they designed their pin. So there's the main pin itself, and then there's this little stabbing piece that I actually did kind of poke the tip of my finger as if I was like getting a blood drawn or anything. But if you push it hard enough, yes, you will hurt yourself. But it's also incredibly hard to do so. So the fact that I did it was an achievement in many ways. But that was just me going like, well, I wonder how much this would hurt. and that's just how it ended. But that keeps it from spinning, and it's like, that is awesome, because I kept thinking it's like, oh, I'm gonna have to pay the extra 15 cents per enamel pen to make sure they got 2 of them on it so that it doesn't spin around. But I tested them on some fabrics, and when I got this first set, and it didn't spin, so it was perfect. It's exactly what I expected. And as for sizes, you never know quite how big an inch is when you see it, and you go, wow, that is smaller than I thought. But I made the baby an inch, just like how my diagram here. This is actually this is the file I sent off to them. Then because I take that back. I didn't send them this exact file. What I sent them is individual PNGs of each artboard that I created, which is a very good thing to do if you're working in Illustrator. Make separate artboards. Then you can export as screens and make separate images just on the fly like that. Just a little design tip when working in Illustrator. But the amazement of using artboards in Illustrator so you can have different frames. As a matter of fact, actually, I'm kind of thinking like everything I'm gonna do for Ginge Snaps this generation, the next generation. No, just stop it. And
Ginge Snaps Neo.
Ginge Snaps 2.0.
Neo,
Plugged back in the grid.
Ginge Snaps. Dressed up as the Matrix. Why the hell am I dressed like this? I don't know.
Pretty cool. Are we going to a convention? Nah. We're just dressed up like this
it's time
in a
to
different
free
day.
your mind. Ginge pushes someone off a roof.
Ha! I guess he couldn't learn to fly.
I said free your mind, not scream.
Definitely clearing
Doesn't help with
the
freeing the mind.
pathway of the throat, though, so he's got a clear voice for singing. Good.
I said
Hold
free
that
your
note.
mind and not free your bowels.
Oh. Yeah. That's one thing I'm afraid about when I die. Is that all it is just gonna be me. All over the place. It's gonna be explosive.
It's everybody that does that all over the place.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that sounds like a horrible thing. That's why, like, I keep thinking, okay, I'm gonna get really weird with this. I keep thinking, if I was to die in bed, how badly do I have to pee when I wake up in the morning? Pretty darn bad. So, my dead body would piss itself. Right?
More than likely.
So, wouldn't it be ideal for every person to just, go to bed with a diaper on, just in case? That way you don't leave your loved ones going, oh crap, now I have to gotta clean those sheets, the sheets he died on and pissed all over himself on. Ugh.
Why would you keep them to begin with?
Sorry, getting a little dark with that kind of tone.
Why would you keep those to begin with?
How would I keep what?
Why would you keep those sheets to begin with? Would there be a particular reason?
Yeah, the Zelda sheets, absolutely keep them.
Oh
I don't understand that question. Why wouldn't you keep sheets that are like SpongeBob, or Hey Arnold, or Zelda, like I just mentioned, or Mario ones? Oh my goodness. Those are treasured sheets. But yeah, as for like what's
I
that?
do have an old Powerpuff Girls pillowcase that I'm happy about.
As you should be. It's a great thing.
And Pokemon, which you got to use, but you're pissed off because it's Pikachu.
Oh my gosh. I am done with Pikachu.
To be honest, I am too. I just have it because it's old, and it's when Pikachu was chonky.
Before his redesign, it's like, we gotta slim him, make him a little bit, A little bit slimmer mouse. It's a freaking mouse. And did you know that in Sword and Shield, there are 2 different types of the Pikachu? That if you Gigantamax one, he actually goes Pikachu and actually says it in like some deep voice. And then there's the other one that goes Pikachu and just has that really like, you don't sound like Pikachu. I'm the original. I'm the original OG. Yeah.
Yep. Chonkachu.
Chonkachu. I should make that. Chonkachu. For them old school people that like the Chonkachu. I mean, because like these designs of the Octoroks came from, what was it, Frumpy Dumpy Lumpy Link? Isn't that what you dubbed it on stream so long ago?
Yeah. Frumpy Dumpy Lumpy Link.
That's right. Actually,
I know it's not appropriate to eat on stream, but
well, see, then what about those people that cook while they stream?
that's probably their job.
How is that considered appropriate? Frickin' tantalizing food. But oh yeah, and for anyone, size matters on your pen, because size always does matter. Then the back pin, I was ordering double original, but we through discussion it got changed, and I realize now that I never changed this. The back stamp costs extra too. So I decided that, yeah, I want a back stamp on these. And it's like 45 cents extra to do it. So you may or may not. But if you want it to be traceable so people understand that, like, oh, this is the person that originally made that design, like, then it's worth it for that recognition of, yeah, this is my original design. And then 100. The more you buy from them, the cheaper it will be. But this is pretty much what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to have this base without any colors. And in this case, like, sometimes enamel pens are actually so much easier when it comes to coloring because all it is flat. You don't put in shadow because there ain't no shadow. As a matter of fact, the only way you can put in shadow in some of these, and I really thought about it, is kind of doing a kind of actually more of like what you'd see in comic books. You just darken a certain area really dark, so you're technically making that ink line or the under the enamel base color. In this case, like the outline on these particular ones has a black enamel pin, so all the lines are not black. They're actually the enamel color coming through because they just don't have color in them. But they're raised enough so they can fill in the space with the enamel. So this whole idea of how this one works is that it's I'm trying to utilize the black enamel pin. So that was part of the design aesthetic, is instead of trying to say, oh yeah, let's make that color black, I just picked one of their designs that, you know, their enamel backings that said their black nickel, and that compensated. So that makes it shimmer and shine along the edge because it's just the enamel coming through. So if you want to do shadows, because I did this also. No, actually, now I'm looking at it. They did do the heavy line on the outside of the eye and then filled it in with black in the eyes and on the mouth. So how many colors did I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, yeah, I did count it out as 5. Okay. So I did count black filling in for the eyes and everything. But if you really want, when you create these files, is actually separating them out. One for the lines, and then one for the colors, so they can actually see the layer. And then, so that, because it makes a big difference when you're trying to, you know, tell them like, yeah, these are the lines I want to use, and then they'll get the file and go, oh, okay, I see that. I see you filled in these spots with these colors. And that's why I counted out, and like each one of these I used 5. So I paid an extra 32 cents per pen to actually give the 2 extra colors I needed. But I did sit there and try to go, how can I make this like 1? How can I make this, you know, any less? So, but I got 1, 2. I have 6 actually on the mom. What is wrong with me? And I should have 6 on the baby. Wait a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Technically 7 on the baby. Why did I put in 5? Probably because I just copy and pasted that same description down across. Dad's the only one that has 5. Yeah. Dad has 5, Mom has 6, baby has 7. Dang, baby. Just like any child, it costs the most.
Wow.
I know.
Nathan.
I went there. But yeah. So I need to go make a Hyrule sword. That's what I need. Break it on down, make some stuff. But I'd say it's actually a lot easier to make enamel pens than probably some people thought. Just because it's a matter of having the right tools for what you want to do. So I say it's easy if you know how to use Illustrator and or even Inkscape for that matter. Inkscape is a vector program that's for free download. Strongly recommend if you want to play around with vector art, go to Inkscape.
A vector art program allows you, so when you have the biggest thing is what people sometimes don't teach you about photographs is that when you have a rasterized JPEG of something, it's made up of 1,000 billion million pixels.
Yeah, and you're telling each pixel what color it should be based on a relation to the pixel beside it. And that's really...
And when you stretch and when you do things to it, it actually alters those colors.
Well, because it tries to fill in a gap by creating a gradient, creating a notion of changing from its color to the color to a lighter color, because a lot of edges are actually feathered if you zoom in on them when you draw. And then
when you want to stretch it out and everything, it becomes a mess. And you think, oh, I can just put it back the way it was. Every time you open, even just opening a JPEG image, the quality goes down.
Yep.
And a PNG and vector files makes it so the lines do not change except for the relative size.
Yes.
So finding a vector program is essential for keeping your quality.
Exactly, and especially when it comes to that whole aspect, like you said, of scaling. Scaling a picture is so much easier when it's a vector version.
More often than not, we won't have the correct size for something. Unless we measure.
Oh yeah.
And most people I know don't do that and just like to scale it.
Well, and there's also the big thing that, like, when people are drawing, it's using 300 DPI.
Yep.
Makes a significant difference than using 72.
Which, fun fact, if you try to do comics like manga and stuff that use halftone patterns and put them on the web, web imagery never goes above 150 DPI. So if you use something with a halftone pattern and you suddenly zoom out or zoom into the page and it looks different, that's why. Always test something online before you actually just upload it if it has a halftone pattern or something that involves pixel art.
It also depends on the file type you're using and what is capable of being, actually presented. Because so what is it?
Hello,
if you use
Lazy
a
Virgo
JPEG,
98.
it's already gonna smush it down. It's a web file for a purpose. It's meant to simplify it so it can easily load on a web page.
Yes.
And then something like an SVG is really great for vector because it's actually a specialized vector file where you can scale it, but not everything is going to recognize that file type. Not like JPEG.
Yep.
And that's where file types make a big difference.
And also know what programs you're using in. If you're using like Photoshop or something, sometimes one program will recognize a file, but another will not. It won't play nice if you try to go backwards.
In fact.
Because, gosh, what is it? Is it that Krita recognizes Photoshop, but Photoshop doesn't recognize Krita?
Yes. Which is an odd thing, but that's also because like Adobe goes, I don't want anything to do with you. And Krita goes, yeah, bring it on over. We welcome you.
Yep. Yes, hello, Lazy Virgo 98, and welcome to the stream.
Hello.
We're just doing some art. This is my stream. Nathan's is, if you go on YouTube and type in BoogieMan Inked, you can see his side of his stream. He's working on some enamel pens. I'm just working on some Omori art.
That's Omori.
Good old Basil.
Baby.
Good flower child. Oh my god, that's Amore.
Again, all I think is Final Fantasy Spirit Within when Belushi just says, that's Amore, baby. When when they're going up in the elevator, and he hot wires it to like stop. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
It's like the one quotable line that sticks in my head from that movie, no matter what I do. It's always there. But, hey, Kayla, have you ever used the export for screens feature?
Export for screens? I have not.
It's one of the best little things if you're making multiple images that you pretty much want to reference one another. Heck, I did it purposely. Actually, I'll go over to this. My emojis are all separate artboards. So I erased the main one and created individual artboards for each one of these. And if you go to File, Export for Screens, it brings every single one of the images up and it gives them names, and then you can tell it what formats you want it to output as. So in this case, I can do one version as a PNG, I can do an SVG, and then I'm going to do a JPEG at 100%. You can even change the scale of the resolution. Like, I want my JPEG to actually be 4 times the original. So it's the biggest I can make it, in a sense, from its original pixel size, or pixel ratio size in the artboard that I created.
Nice.
And then when you can go through, select every single artboard you want. It said, I want all of these. And then you hit export out to export artboard, and what it'll do is it'll create individual files for the ones for the PNGs, one for the SVGs, one for the JPEGs, and it'll even break it down in the PNGs down to, okay, well, I have a 1x, 2x, 3x, and 4x version, so you'll have PNGs 1x, PNG 2x, PNG 3x, and so on and so forth. So it'll break it all down so you can easily find which version, what sizes. This is great for anyone. This is an incredibly handy tool when you're creating multiple things, especially on a related file. So you have one Illustrator file that has all these related things, and you say, I just want to export them all out. And that's how you make them all individual. So artboards are cool. That's right, kids. And not only that, but like this particular, I could expand and make more emojis and just keep it in this and go, I just need to take these ones out. Or export these ones. And then the same thing happens when you work on a Illustrator file of your pins. Yeah, so I created separate artboards for all of it, so they're all separated. Yeah, from my original lines to the cleaned up and colored version. And Kayla, I don't know if you knew this, but I designed these characters without making a sketch. It's a big no-no. I'd definitely say it's a big no-no. And I say that it's like because I got basic
Sometimes
shapes.
it happens.
I got basic shapes, but then I just imported like this very rough shape, which was like, here's a circle. This is how big I want the head to be. This is how the placement of the eyes, and I want these tentacles. So there's like barely anything. I didn't put any detail. It was just, eh. And so I played with it all in Illustrator to give it finer detail, give it more character. But then these are also just, I had reference from...
It happens sometimes.
Well, and I felt like I could do fine because I had reference from the original picture I was taking them from. The Frumpy Dumpy Lumpy link, so I did fine with that. Yeah. I do not want to do that with the next pin. I definitely say don't. Get as much of the detail as you want. That way you're doing less tweaking, less fussing with the vector lines in the end. Just because I feel like that makes a big difference. So that was something I learned.
Yeah.
So, and again, not something I recommend. Alright, so we're going to do... We're going to make ourselves a master sword. So I'm going to do it just like how I did the shield. We're going to turn on the reflect tool. We're going to draw one half of it. The beauty of making things that are symmetrical. So yes, if anyone's curious, I hand drew this picture. I did not pull up a reference and trace over it. I strictly just put up a picture. Because I wanted to make it my own. That's how we work. Alright. You know what? I have a feeling I keep hitting a button somewhere that quiets Spotify. I don't know where. I honestly, I don't.
Know.
It's like, not like I'm slapping, you know, spacebar. It's not even the selected program. It better not be.
Sometimes, depending on the window you left off in, it glues itself to that, and if the spacebar does function as starting and stopping something, it might do it in both windows.
True.
Which is a pain in the butt. Happens on me on more than one occasion.
Now I'm deciding if I want the sword in the scabbard or not. Because that's an interesting thing, because when it comes down to it, it's like scabbard's usually on the hip. Do I want it to be?
I wouldn't put it in the scabbard just to make it in its full what it is.
Yeah, but
all its glorious details.
Such detail.
So does the sword.
Yeah, the sword does, yes. And in all honesty, I wanted to.
You, though.
I wanted to magnetically.
How much time do you want to spend on it?
Forever.
How much time can you afford to spend on it before the con?
Well, considering the turnaround time that I had for the Octoroks was actually, I don't feel like it was more than a month.
You had an extra day off during that time, though.
Yeah. That's true.
I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer on you. I'm just
Well,
saying with
there's also the fact that I feel like I'm working a lot faster anyways, because I did the Hyrule Shield last night. And I didn't bother to time myself how long it took me to sketch it out how I wanted.
I was gonna say something else, but no, never mind.
No, what are you gonna say?
Stupid. Part of that getting it done might just be from initial excitement on the project, which often dies away.
Well, I'm seriously
after having
because
done it for a little while.
well, I'm
Which
very
isn't
excited
bad,
to
it-
see
it
the end
happens.
result because I really want to see. Because the reason why I also argue to myself is like the magnetic idea is so cool because so many people had this like tattooed on them too that I was looking at, and there was a difference between people that had the sword that was up and down, or even the sword that was going across in the back behind the shield. And it's like if it's magnetic, you get the choice of how you want that sword to sit along the back. So that to me played a pretty cool idea of that's really, really awesome. Alright, I wasn't even touching anything and Spotify stopped.
It just doesn't like you.
No, it doesn't. It really does not like me. Oh well.
At that point, it's got a vendetta against you.
Well, there has to be some technical issue while I'm working.
Right.
Why not? Spotify
We
just
even out our
randomly
streams
quiets.
enough, and now we have other stuff. Shide stuff.
Okay.
Why am I focusing so hard on the tears? This is not productive. This is not anything.
Tears are
Come on.
important. You need to express yourself. That's why we have tear ducts. Okay, my first choice is going to be
These together for one thing, and then move this.
so instead of making a extra lip, I'm just gonna go into that. So every line I'm making is going to end up being a portion of the underlying enamel backing coming forth, which is why I have to make these decisions as I'm looking and getting an idea. So I think I also settled on the idea that the sword is going to be about a 3-inch tall pin, and the sword itself is either going to be 2 to 2.5. So yes, I'm going very big with these ideas. The main reason why I'm excited about this is because I too want to own these pins. So that's another reason to make them. Like, yeah. And if I make a bunch and sell the rest to other people, especially while at the really cool Comic-Con in August, it'll be all the better. I think people would like it. So that's the point of designing this particular one. It's like it's a huge test to see if I can get those magnets to work properly, and like push it on like the manufacturers, and like the people that are making them, and saying like it's really important that the polarity is the same, that they can attach to one another. And then there's gonna be people that just, nah, I want the sword. Nah, I just want the shield. That's cool too. I'm looking forward to having them both together.
Yeah.
Right, hilt to sword ratio. Hilt is 1 to 3. So I think I'm saying that wrong. Takes 3 hilts to make the length of the sword, is what I'm thinking. And we'll see if I can get this drawn in the first go, which is gonna be a no. I'm gonna tweak it. Yeah. The whole reason why I like the idea of sketching this is because it's going to be so much easier to just go, vector, make it all across it, because it's already there, instead of designing it with the vector portion and tweaking it as I go. I love this mirror tool so much. You know, people, if you ever want to make eyes, you should just do it this way. There, got 2 eyes. Nose.
Nose goes.
Boom. Done. Make him grumpy. Give him a little bit of cheekbone. Make that lip come down and out. Boom. Look, I made a face. And I need to erase it. Quick little drawing. There you go, everyone. Yay. See? Mirroring is helpful. But nobody's face is has that much symmetry.
Symmetrical. Nobody's
Symmetry does not
face
exist
is
in reality.
symmetrical. Nope.
Okay. Arch it. Bop it. Arch it. Bop it. No. I might change the length of that hilt just cause I feel like it's possibly too short. But we're making decisions now so we can adjust them afterwards. So yes, I am simplifying some of this design of the sword because in my mind the enamel pin will not work so well with a whole bunch of extra lines. Because the smaller the detail, the more of a nuisance it can be. So making it too small also is another big reason why. If I'm going to go with a bigger pin, I can put in a little bit more detail. But just because I can, does it mean I should? Yes. Kayla, don't you agree you should make things that you even want, right?
Hmm.
Do you agree that you should make things that even you would want? Like this enamel
Yeah.
pen it's something I really want. I really like this idea. Which is why I'm taking the time. Like, I'm going to design it. I'm going to hopefully work with the company and keep everyone updated as I get it done. You know, hopefully it won't be like, hey, look, it's not going to happen. Hopefully it's like, we had a design snag. We're talking it out. I went back to the drawing board. Because I plan on hashing this out as much as possible. You know, it's funny. Most of the designs of the sword have very they barely have any variation between each version, as for the sword goes. Like, the only one
the
that...
shield did.
The what's that?
But the shield does.
Oh, yeah. Well, when you think of it, the sword, yes, is such an iconic sword, but really, what do we see the most of when it comes to the symbols and everything? Is that sword, is that shield. It's always that shield in front of the sword.
Shield.
So the first thing your eye is drawn
the
to
shield
is
was
shield.
to, aside from flags on horses or flag carriers in combat, the shield is what carried the emblem of the house. Simplified the protection of the house. So, many other things. Yeah, most of the time the Link's sword is sheathed too, or he's just carrying it in his hand that we don't really see because you see it from the back.
Yeah.
Between his flipping and jumping and shaving grass.
all I could hear
You know,
is
for
that.
a minute there I thought you threw up. And then I'm like, oh wait, that's just how Link sounds. He does sound like he throws up.
Dang, did you ever see how much that boy could eat in frickin' Breath of the Wild?
Yes.
Hoof, 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 hoof. It's like every hero is like, I waste so much energy doing all this stuff, but I will eat this mountain of food within seconds too. So I'm yeah, like, you're an epic in every way you do stuff. Alright, so I have a diamond.
That's very true though. Link, the hero of all trades.
Well, yeah, and that seems to be like a big point. It's a bunch of heroes from so many things. Like that's their icons. Like, oh yeah, I just want food. Just give me food. Mountains of food. Keep it coming. As a matter of fact, actually, in
Takes a lot to save the day.
oh yeah.
A full belly should be a thing.
Now I have to keep this simple, so the diamond shape is going to be that, and it's going to be filled in. I'm also going to have to clip part of the wing, because one part of the design has the wing coming out to this, and then coming out this way. I feel like I need to get rid of that little... I like it. I like how it looks, though. I like that little tidbit, but I don't want too many things hanging off like that. I mean, it is an enamel pin. It's going to be pretty hard. If you can break that, I'll be shocked. But I don't want something that could easily be dulled over time, broken, or anything, or like even just... At the same time, it's like, sharp objects do hurt when they're enamel pins. So the more sharp edges I put on this sword, the more dangerous it actually becomes. Which is part of the reason of thinking about putting it on the scabbard, because now that I think it was like, I could round the end of that and not make it a sharp tip.
You could do it to the sword, too.
I should blunt it. Or, how about this? I put a cork on it. There we go. It's a cork sword. It's a cork master sword. But I do want to avoid as many sharp edges as possible. And for the most part, I know that they'll round it off pretty much when they make the design. It's just, it'll still come to somewhat of a point. I guess that's the dangerous part of making a sword now that I think about it. The design aesthetic. I'm making... Actually, like, if this thing is pretty darn strong, it could also be a little handy, letter opener for you.
So it's got even more purpose.
Could make a letter opener out of it.
Yeah. I mean, the enamel pins are pretty thin. They got some thickness to them, but they're still pretty thin. You can make it into freaking... And like, since this will be a magnetic one, you won't have the pin backing on it in the way either. So you won't jab yourself. So my goodness. This is quite fancy. Quite the fancy. Now, even I was like, started thinking about like, well, if it's magnets, how reliable is it going to be to stay or, you know, not fall off or all that's like, that's part of the risk. Something I'll definitely warn everyone
Eventually
about.
the magnet's gonna wear out anyway.
Yeah.
They lose their polarity? I don't know. They lose whatever.
But there are methods to actually give it back to it, too.
Then let them deal with it.
Exactly. I won't guarantee them for life. As a matter
You're
of fact,
there to you're there to sell a magnet, not to
and that's also another thing that I thought about is like, oh my gosh, it's a magnet. Can you put it on your refrigerator? I don't think so, mainly because of how the polarity of the actual of the enamel pin might not be in the favor of, oh, this is how it attaches to a refrigerator. It might end up repelling it.
You could look it up and then just flip them around to be opposite so it can attach
Well,
to a refrigerator.
That's also me talking to the manufacturer and going, okay, what direction is the polarity on this? Like, what's the positive side? What's the negative side on the magnet? Because it's kind of crucial when it comes to making these. Like, I want them to work all the same, and I anticipate when they magnetize it, they'll all be in the same direction. But most of the time, when you think about it, when you put a clutch on, the little clutch that they have designed has no front face, you know, or needs to be like, it doesn't have a positive or a negative that's like is important to the design of it. It just clap. It'll flip around and it'll say, nope, this is how I attach. Whereas if I'm trying to get two enamel pins to work with one another in a magnet, they have to be facing a particular direction. Is for the polarity to work. So I don't know if they actually take the care to do that. Or if they put it through their manufacturing process, like zap, 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 every single one's exactly the same no matter what direction it is. It's always this polarity. So it's a very crucial question I'm going to have to ask in a detailed email to them to say, hey, I'm thinking about the design. I would like to see them work together, but if I have to, I'll make them two separate pins. I just really, really, really want this design to work. So that's my emphasis, is trying to get, you know, this new idea of how this pin, because if this works out, there's already another pin design I was thinking. I was like, if we can get the magnets to work in this way, oh my gosh, we can do a dress up enamel link pin and you can change his shirt.
Your ambition has no bounds, you know that?
I know, it just so you could buy the link in his skivvies. And then you can get the red shirt, blue shirt, or green shirt and put them on him. See?
Purple or orange, depending on if you played Four Swords Adventure.
There you go, too. See? It just sounds like such a cool idea, but the idea is that the Link himself would be a pin, so it'd have a pin backing. But then you can clasp on this like magnet right onto him that allows it to be a dress your own Link. Yes, it's a very ambitious idea, and it'd probably be one of my larger pins that I design. But I've had that idea for quite some time, and I think the Hyrule Sword and Master Sword are is a good start to seeing how I can get that to work. Especially because like this works, and it works in a way where you can have the sword angled whichever direction you want. You can have it straight up and down. You can have it tilted to the side or to the left or right, behind it. But it works. It should work. In theory.
In theory.
Yeah. In design theory,
You can have a happy link, sad link.
oh yeah,
Really?
that's another thing. It's like
A frumpy,
make
dumpy,
your
or
own
lumpy
emoji.
link.
Well, think about also in the aspect of going to another. And yeah, I'm putting this out here. You guys, if anyone else wants to do it, it's designing one where you can change out the emoji on your pin. Just clap, new smiley face on it or something. That's something I would love to do. So in this case, like having a base coin shaped, saying my current mood, and then clap, you put on this emoji, and then like that's my current mood. So you can have the angry face, happy face, all these things. Or in my case, where I was thinking, because I made up the emojis of BoogieMan, is here's the BoogieMan's happy face, here's BoogieMan tongue out face. Like you clap it onto it, and it's interchangeable that way. See, like I said, I've been thinking about magnets for quite some time, and I toned it down to just working with the Hyrule Sword and Shield. Because I really, really, really want a Hyrule Sword and Shield. What's this?
I'm thinking a lot about magnets.
Yes. Magnets are everything. Heck, when I was reading books on vision, and when I say books, it's more like articles and everything, because I'm not one to do the science of it. I was always fascinated as a kid, and I kept saying, like, it has to be working with magnets, and then you see Doc Ock, and, you know, when he's in his in the movie, he's working with magnets, and he's using the arms to kind of help, you know, harness in, but he's using a massive magnet. The only problem ever with a magnet, though, is that in order to contain something, you have to use equal force. So how do you actually maintain something but also then gain the power from it? So therefore, the magnet is just as strong as the sun you're containing. So where's the you have an equilibrium? How do you get this power of the sun to even give out a little bit extra without it overpowering the magnet to a point? And so I saw it, well, funnels, and I think that's exactly the design that is being used nowadays to study fission. So yes, I was always a deep thinker as a kid, crazy in so many ways. But if you use funnel designs, you wouldn't necessarily have to do it. You can have an oscillating magnet then.
I don't think the world understands we actually need more people like you.
What? I just want to draw shit. Not necessarily. I don't want to sit there and do all the math. Oh my gosh, I love math, but I do not want to sit there and do the math. Not at all. Oh my
You're equipped
gosh.
to do it though, if you need to.
What's this?
You're equipped to do it, even though, still.
To some capacity, I never really went beyond calculus. I mean, I did take linear algebra just for fun, but I did not put as much effort as I should have. It was the first math course that, like, halfway through it, they said, "Oh yeah, you don't need to take that for your majors." Like, oh, okay. Well, then I guess I'll just continue on. I ended up with a C in it because, like, it wasn't going to count towards anything. So I was like, I'm just here to learn something, but I'm not going to put my whole heart into it. I should have. It was actually, linear algebra it was fun. It just, I didn't put my whole heart into it. Because once I realized it was not for my major, I was like, well, I could either get half my money back or just go through it and see what happens, but the grade won't matter because it won't go against my degree anyways. I mean, in the end, it probably did hurt my GPA. I don't know exactly if it did or not. Back then, that's exactly what I thought. And it's like, fine, if it doesn't count towards my degree, it won't hurt me. This can't hurt me. Math can't hurt me. Math can hurt you people. Math will hurt you people. Don't underestimate it.
Math is hard. It is, but it isn't.
Well,
when you have an abstract way, when your brain works in abstract ways, having math, which is literally just, there's always a pattern with math.
Mm-hmm.
And we just can't seem to find it and stick with it.
Well, not only that, but Math
then
only
the way that
works
we
if you know all the
introduce it-
variables. If you know
Yeah.
everything that's playing on that equation, then you can understand something with math. But that's also part of what, the whole aspect of why math is still growing, is when we learn something new, you start applying it to equations we once thought were actual, like, done to some capacity. You learn that we didn't think of this particular variable, and then now it evolves to something more. So there's so much discovery still inside that, because our understanding of math is still limited. And that's why we have theoretical mathematics, because you really have to sit there and think outside the box for you to move beyond what you know now. Only way to make innovation is you challenge the thoughts now. Yeah, I'm a weird kid. But yeah, as a kid, I thought of nuclear fission. And it's because I read sci-fi books all the time.
Isn't a bad thing.
No, not at all. I'm not saying anything bad about it. As a matter of fact, like, the books that I want to write are sci-fi.
Normally, the best ones that are written have some form of truth in them.
Exactly. Isaac Asimov,
whether it's art or science.
never went to school for sciences, but he was self-taught. As a matter of fact, I think I can't remember what school. He got a honorary doctorate because his contribution to science through his writing. As a matter of fact, even other science fiction writers came to him and would say, "I'm really trying to find, what kind of what is it, like something that could explain how this chemical reaction happens here." And Isaac would just come out and say, like, "Oh, you might want to use this type of enzyme with these because it's interactions through the chemical process." Like, he just spout off all this stuff, like, "Oh, that's clever, that's great." And it's like, you just freely hand that out. He was a great man of science, yet all he ever did was write about it. But he opened his mind to every aspect and learned as much as he could. And in so many ways, I bet you he was also experimenting with mental experiments. And how can I push the limit of this? And then, is there a scientist that has already kind of tweaked it or found some point that makes it plausible? And then he would make it more finite choices of, this is how it could be, this is how it should work, based upon physical fact and how it could be. Maybe in the future we have this aspect that alters it enough, and or we use magnets that now has this, this chemical is very highly susceptible to magnets, just like how we have radiation, which is susceptible to magnets, because that's what our whole planet's being protected by, is a giant ass magnet from the radiation of the sun. So you got so many other factors in the nature of science that can dictate how you say something works. You just have to be open up to the possibility. Welcome to Nerd Hour, people. Yeah.
You're amazing.
I'm just a nerd.
But you're an amazing nerd.
I feel like the only thing I can contribute to science is just inspiring another generation. So that's why I want to write the stuff I write. Matter of fact, I like the one thing that got me so giddy. Actually, this was just a month ago. I wrote a few short stories on this on this, and then I wrote a longer version for Alton's Wake. And Alton is a scientist, but he's a particular scientist. A scientist I called a biogermologist. He programs like you would a computer, but he programs biological life to do certain acts based upon enzymes and chemical processes, and putting even an instinctual survival mode into them that helps them conduct the actions that are necessary. So on NPR,
I heard about a second generation of them, of this company working on actually programming microbial uh, little, in a sense, machines of sorts to do particular tasks. So instead of making nano machines, which are physically like us making a mini machine, we already have biological single cells that we can inject a program into. We can inject into its DNA, and it's like, this is what you do to survive, and it will do this process. Now, what if you made a little microbial, this little mini biological bot, say, go take care of all the little, the little crap that is inside the human body that causes aging. You could then rejuvenate life, because how does Wolverine live forever? Does his body constantly repair, or is there something that always is attacking our body that's deteriorating it over time? So it's a matter of like thinking it in these ways. Like you could technically make the Fountain of Youth with these bio machines that can constantly keep repairing the body, because they take in exchange something that your body gives off in this process of aging, and then rejuvenates it as its excrement in a sense. And like that's a process you can have that would rejuvenate your body, because parts of death is actually you are slowing down in that process of actually rejuvenating your own body for yourself. So yeah. But anyways, the NPR said like they didn't have a name for it, so I started screaming in the car, biogramology, biogramology. Because it's the exact science I was writing about, because like I wanted life to work in this way, because he was working on a means of creating a new vegetation that is edible to humans but can survive in some of the harshest conditions. And part of it was to use the plant as an ecosystem in its own right, and have these little microbials work inside it that did that same thing, would help the plant do its job even in the harshest environments, because the exterior of the plant would be that of like a space station. It'd be the means of protecting these microbes that do the heavy lifting and work, but they get a part of the process that the factory of the plant does. So, but they would also then be edible, because they too would add protein bases and enzymes to the plant, and they would be rejuvenating it. It would become its own little living ecosystem. And in harsh environments, you could have these little microbes could go out into the soil, grab things, pull it back into the plant a lot faster than the plant could do itself. But the plant itself would also be its home. It'd be its protection. It'd be its safe spot. So when the plant had to go dormant for any reason, they'd all come back in, and they'd all sit inside and wait for things to pass, while the toughness of the plant could take care of it, while they are also repairing. Because think of like when you're inside your house and you have a sandstorm come through, you board up the windows and everything, and then you tough it out. Well, what if they actually did the same thing? They reinforced the plant for a tough situation. See, I'm all over the place with these ideas. Let's just make enamel pens, people. Come on. So you can already see, yeah, the stories I've already written. Hi, Kayla.
I'm okay. I have nothing to say. I don't have big ideas like that.
Like I said, the only way I felt like I could have an effect in science is right. So now it's a matter of sitting down and getting those short stories outlined into comics and other forms of what I want to inspire, a different generation to actually go do the math themselves. Dang it. So yes, I guess that's really the reason why I want to make comics. Even though I make a silly comic called Ginge
You are
Snaps.
well enough equipped.
What's that? I'm well what?
You are well enough equipped to.
Well, to some capacity. It's just a matter of not babbling so much in front of other people. Like, this is, you know, this is how it works. And like, and it's just like, no, the point of most stories is it's beyond the author themselves. The author can only leave an impression, but how somebody sees the story is based upon their mood. The amount of understanding they have at the time. I mean, how many times have you ever gone to a book that you read when you were a kid and came back to it and you said, wow, I understand so much more of this now? It's because you've had experience in your life. That plays into your perspective on how something affects you. If you feel the world is small, then read a book. You realize that it really isn't. Especially in those moments when we feel like we're insignificant and everything. It's like, we can play a big role if we just... Not necessarily like, you know, for all of mankind, but maybe for your little community.
I think it's just more lines of like, and nah.
Nah?
And I'm just gonna close that can of worms. Nah.
I've just noticed that since I talk so much, Spotify quieted itself again. It's like, no, I'm just listening intently. Thanks, Spotify.
Surprisingly enough,
Dirty
my tech was not other.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's like, I got Teknoaxe going, and it's like, how is Spotify the one that's turning it off? What is causing it to be turned off? Because, like I said, it already turned off once when I wasn't even touching it. Bastard. So what designs do I want to keep in this, and how simplified can I make this? Matter of fact, it's kind of funny. The simplification of the Ocarina of Time sword actually fixes some of the features that this sword will have. Yeah, because it does simplify this. I don't have to fuss. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get the wing design into this. We're making this happen. Sometimes I keep thinking I shouldn't be freehanding this, but I am. And I only say that because, like, I'm using arches. I could just use a line tool to do this. Heck, there's a vector tool right up there that I could just be using. But I don't know, something about making the choices doing it freehand is just makes it more interesting to feel it. That looks pretty nice. It's the first wing. Come on. Okay, and then I need to make the third. Nope, cutting that one in way too quickly.
Eh?
I'm making the wing design on the hilt. Except for these are all going to be lines of the enamel coming through in the end. In this case, this one will use a silver coloring. That should come through. Which is automatically going to make the hilt look different. Instead of being a solid blue, like so many of these designs show, it's going to have blue filled in with silver, lines around inside of it. So it's already not going to be an exact replica of the hilt, of that design, because these lines should technically be blue in order for that to work. But
the only reason. I think the only reason it should either be simplified nowadays could just, if you want that particular old look to it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of just the things that stopped it from being so detailed was technical aspects.
Oh yeah.
Machines they ran on. There's
You're
an
very right.
aesthetic. There's an aesthetic to having it look older, or it's more pixely, or just the one color. But that's not what you're looking for, man.
Well, I'm looking to translate some of the design features of a few of these swords into this, because I'm taking features from some of them that are simplified enough that will work for an enamel pen. So this is still its own sword in many ways for that purpose, because it's finding itself in how an enamel pen works. So, and most of the time I'd be telling I'm going over and over, these lines are, I'm still figuring out which lines will work best for the enamel pen. I will try to cut out some because I want to simplify its shape as much as possible too. And as for color, it's pretty much blue, gold, silver. There's only 3 colors on this. I take that back. That's right. The hilt is wrapped in a turquoise green. Has some threading, or not threading, but some fabric. I can't even think what it's necessarily called, but it has some fabric across the hilt that I have to put on. But the hope is I will rescale this. Wrong button. So we can even see the final design as a I'll have the shield sit there in the background. Because I like the hilt right now. How I have this set up is where it works out pretty well. Now I just need to make the blade. But What is this? What is this? Yeah.
Yeah?
Did it show? Do you even have likes? Did I scare the crap out of you yet with a like on your stream?
Uh-huh.
I don't think it did.
Did what?
It did?
What do you mean?
I'm asking if it
What do you mean?
on your stream. I hit like. Did it not prompt it?
Oh, on which thing? On Facebook?
Yes, I did on Facebook.
I don't have Facebook up, so
What?
I can't run Facebook on a live stream. But no, it didn't prompt anything. All I get are chat notifications.
Actually, did your stream stop on you?
Maybe. I don't know. Wouldn't be surprised if it did.
Actually, yeah, it did. Yeah, I went over to look and yours is not up and running right now.
Okay.
How long did it take for my head to start getting this weird? Wow, I sit still for very long periods of time. I'm sorry, people. I should be more animated. But anyways. Yeah, it definitely looks like your stream stopped on you.
Did it only stop on Facebook?
Let's see. Now, which ones are you going out? You have Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah, the YouTube one is stopped. Matter of fact, it hasn't even finished uploading or like compiling your latest live video. Yeah, and your Facebook one has stopped. Sure.
Alright, then I'm done for the day. I think I'm gonna finish up and head out for the day, but there's an hour and 26 of my stream up if you guys want to watch the backlog of it. I'm just working on the Amori piece just because I've been sort of playing video games. Yeah, I'm exhausted right now. I'm gonna go lay down.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty pissed off about that right now, so I need to chill.
It's not stream day without technical
yeah.
issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, go check out her stream. I'm looking at the last few minutes that was recorded, and it looks great, Kayla. It looks awesome. I love the tier design you have in it.
Omori's art design is very simplistic, and like the things they use is almost like chonkified, if that's a word.
It
like,
is. We use it
things are
for
always
Pikachu.
Very, very kiddish
Yeah.
looking.
I know the inking looks just great.
Thank you. I'm enjoying watching yours with the mirror design thing. Very handy. And I like how you're taking all different aspects from the different games, because they have evolved over the generations. And I mean, it's been proven that Zelda has a multiverse thing.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I'm avoiding doing like the cut in on that. Avoiding the little extra tip there. There's also the flare before it actually goes out to the blade. That I'm also going to avoid.
Maybe you can look up a way to create holographic cards, and then you can like have a card that you make with all different little layers of the different multiverse.
I think you mentioned that like quite a while ago too. That'd be quite something. As a matter of fact, it's like holographic cards are really cool because you can also show an animation through it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is another cool thing because you know me, I like anything about animation. So showing movement of stuff is just...
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yep, I don't know. I'll figure something out, I guess. I don't know if I'll be able to do anything. I've been very busy packing and doing other things, so...
Yeah. I mean, it's not much longer before your big move, right?
Yep.
That's pretty important. Just be ready for that, because you're moving all the way across the US here.
Yeah. I am cleaning out the house starting Wednesday.
Cool. So Wednesday it is. Well, maybe Thursday.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, you mentioned wanting to come over, and that's fine. Like, I'm just cleaning out stuff and being busy and exhausted at the same time.
Clearing out that house is ideal to for your mental health too.
Yep. Yeah. Fuck you, stream shit.
There's always
I'm
something.
I'm just trying not to spend extra money right now.
Well, don't.
Everything else.
I mean, that's the part of using a free tools, yeah. I mean, heck, last weekend, I had to cut mine short because I couldn't explain why I was losing frames between me and Streamlabs, Streamlabs server. I brought up everything. I could stream anything. I could just do anything through the internet, but on the computer. But would it send a proper, amount of packages over to stream it? No. Because I think it was also funny because I think you just mentioned the previous day that I should be weary because streamers that use Streamlabs were also having issue. So like suddenly here I am having an issue.
A lot of the streamers I had issues with they had issues with Streamlabs because they were dropping frames and it was jittering on people.
Okay, see, so I had the exact
it was
same.
Probably the update.
Yeah. I don't recall there being another update though. That was kind of why I was weary and was like, well, I guess I best start sooner and check it out, see if what my stability's like. But
yeah, my streaming might become more infrequent as well over time, just for now because reasons.
Life.
Yeah. I'm gonna head out, and you all take care.
Alright, Kayla, you have a good rest of the evening. Give a big hug and kiss to
I'll
Josh
try.
for me.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Give it
What?
to him yourself, damn it.
Wait, you'd allow that?
Maybe.
Alright.
Yes. Yes, I think I will.
Inform Josh. He's getting a big smacker on the lips when he sees me next. He's probably gonna avoid me all again.
If you can catch him, he's anywhere and everywhere.
And I'm the
Just like
quietest
you.
giant ginger. We'll see if my ninja skills will catch up to him.
But yeah, y'all have a good night. I'll try. I'm actually running a fever now, so I'm gonna go lay down.
Yes, please do. If you're even more reason for it to cut out on you. It's clearly that you should go get some better rest.
Yay! Alright. Bye!
More of this sword stuff. I really would like to design this so where the shield is probably lower than that, so you can get the nice little Triforce look and that portion of the sword. Which means that I have to make... see, this is where the design aesthetic now finally has to come out. How do I get these two to marry up to one another in a nice way? I could technically make the sword a little bit shorter. And in the end, making a 3-inch tall sword pin with a 2-inch long shield. No matter what, because like if you tilt the sword to the right or left, it's still gonna cover it. So let's see. Take this. Nope, I didn't want that. I wanted that. Here, just see. Okay. I'm doing this at a really high DPI. Oh, goodness. Audio something like that. Ah, from that one. There we go.
So, this design is now how do you make magnets work, and how do you make them effectively not look like they're gonna take one another? That's what this design is all about. No, I don't want to go one of those directions. I'm gonna go downward. I haven't even brought this over to Illustrator yet, so we're still working on the sketch. Yeah. So, maybe buddying these up.
And hi, people.
Hello. If you have any questions, please ask. I'm more than willing to answer anything. Because you're going through making these, making a sword and shield for enamel pins, which is which I'm taking on a very ambitious idea that I had. I really want to see about getting done before August 7th. So I'm trying to build this up. Because it can take almost... I believe it took me a month to get some of my designs done. So this is that first stage, is sketch it out. And then pull this over into Illustrator. Which I think next weekend I will do the Illustrator file and show what I do over on that side. But I do want to finish this type deal. But I need to nail down the idea. So, Master Sword, and we got that portion. I'm just going to use the line tool to actually make this next one, because it's going to be pretty long. I don't need to fuss with. More. I'd much rather go too far and erase some. Alright, so that's most of the way down. Now I did say... Yeah, because I do have hilt as its own separate... I make one... I was taking a cue from why is it so tall? Of course. Because there's some line out there and that. Go inverse.
Okay, go ahead. Alt, and then...
There we go. Delete. Yes, clear everything inside that. Perfect. Deselect it.
Oh, I don't want you to save. Found it as a new.
But it would be a good idea to save. Always keep doing that. Alright. So got the original and 3 more. So as my original idea was... it's probably still got something in there. Something off to that side. Anyways. This was going to be about...
Well, it's definitely not going to be as big because I overdrew the size of the hilt to technically be that. Because if this is going to be the length of 4, then I need a lot more room. But at the same time, it could just be this length of 2 on top of them. Because the Master Sword is a particularly long shield. It's a long sword after all. Not a short sword. Even though, actually, funny enough, there is a few games that had it as a short sword, as it grew up over time. Was that Wind Waker? Yeah, that was Wind Waker that had a sword that evolved over time into a larger and larger version of itself. Okay. So, I'm gonna eyeball this. Okay. Actually, you know, this is not that far off. Because the tip of the blade there's 2 more hilts, and then the tip of it is about half of a hilt. So if I was to shift this upward, I'd have enough space. Let's do it. Okay, so I'm gonna actually backtrack and delete. There we go. I'm just gonna raise it up. Alright, I think we can go in and finish the rest of this blade then. And that would finish our sketch overall. That's even better. I do want to make sure I don't want it to be a sharp enamel pen. I don't want you to actually hurt people with it. Preferably not. There. Now I do have to put the Triforce on a portion of it. And then I have to figure out the size difference between both the sword and shield. So, now I went with the ladder design. Of course, this does mess with kind of the sizing, so I kind of do have to make sure I don't make it too wide. Because it has to be a triangle, then sits on the top of 2 others. So, in order to take care of that, I need to... I'm eyeballing all of this. I should really measure on. I can make it more accurate. But I think I did pretty good with that. Let's copy that. Move it on down. Hey, look, it fits. we go. Let's just carry it down. Since I have a bit of a smooshed design, bring it on down. Same time if I really want to. Look, now they're more acute. Right there. There. That looks like it fits a bit better. That about brush tool. Flip you on around. So if this is the case, the sword would be label these ends. Built. So my overall idea from this point, we can turn off mirror portion now. That's the draftsman in me. Do that. This overall is going to be 3 inches. So now I have to decide how big does the shield have to be in comparison to this. Being a jerk. I swear there's a... Or maybe it's alt. Yep, it's alt. So I did say I was thinking about 2.5 inches. 2.5 inches is definitely going to be too big for the shield. Because in the end, probably be like this, or then could sit up as far as that. So if I take this and put it down here, that actually means that it'll be about 1.5 inches. It's about half the size of the sword. Roughly how I'm looking at this. Because this is very rough kind of measurement. But I'm thinking... yeah. Yeah, that works pretty well for me. Yeah, I would say 3-inch sword, 1.5-inch shield. So given that, I mean these, the mother and papa ones, those are 1.25 inches. And actually, I should probably bring up even their files that let me. Yeah, this overall is going to be a pretty big one. Okay, that's not what I thought it was. And where? 1.25 inches, and 1 inch for the baby. Actually, I gotta think about it. How big was this one? Yeah, we're gonna set them on top of each other. Well, this is about a 2-inch pin. The pizza Regali. This is not one I made. I have a bunch of pins to the side as more of reference of other people's designs, other things they've made. So this is a 2-inch. Wow, the sword would be pretty big. But that'd be pretty epic, as I know a lot of people would want it. It's going to be expensive, though, to have them manufacture. But luckily, the Master Sword only has 3 colors. So that keeps it cheaper on the aspect like that. Because I think, yeah, 1.5-inch shield, 3-inch sword. But at the same time, I could do a 2-inch sword to a to a 1-inch shield. Really? I really do want this to be bigger. So 3-inch and 1.5. That's what it is. So that is it. That is the sketch. And I think the end result should be roughly that. I like it. I like it a lot. Save that. Save it. So yes, my sketch is quite a large file, but I can export this out as a JPEG and pull it into Illustrator. So turn off the sword. Turn off the shield. So you can see pretty well where that's going to sit over it. As for the rest of the blade, it's pretty much going to be the solid form it is, even though I keep thinking there's always like 2 lines, because actually it's got a flat and then it's got a very, its edge is along the side where it has flat side to it. It's clearly flat side to it. I think I've simplified it. Now, as for the hilt on this, We're gonna make another layer. Because one part is on that hilt. Bigger question, is this too much? Because I'm gonna have to do this where it's like just a bunch of X's. I have to decide on how many. When I get to the Illustrator portion, I definitely want to make sure I measure it out and get a better formation of this. Because so I do this 1, 2, 3, and then fourth one. Should be able to fit 4. Getting it off. But that's part of that. I want to make sure those axes look really nice. Really. Now this adds a fourth color if I do this. And that means an extra 16 cents. Per enamel pen. And then just I don't know exactly what it's called. I know there's an official name for it, but getting that design into it gives us quite a bit. Just for my own. I do want to see this a little darker. Just sticks out a little bit better. Alright, so first stage of a design is I knew what sizes I wanted to. I knew the sword was going to be 3 inches. And that's putting a hefty price, but I'm also asking for a custom design of it, which may or may not happen, because there's also one aspect of is that I could put an outline to it. Because like my other ones, I did a custom design, which is a little bit more costly, because what you're pretty much doing when you're saying I want a custom is you're telling it like, I want its silhouette to be this. Instead of like, I'm going to use a circle, you put the design inside of it and we just fill in the gaps. Gosh, now that I think about it, can I get an idea of 3 inches? I'm measuring it because I have an inch long pin. Just kind of eyeball it. Actually, that's a pretty good example. It lined up pretty well. So from the top of the pin down to this silver line, that's 3 inches roughly. That'll be a pretty long little master sword for everyone to have. And then, if you take about half of that distance, is how big the Master Shield, Hyrule Shield is gonna be on it. And I'll hang down a little bit low, but yeah. This could work. I could get this to work, definitely. And then of course this is also the fun thing that I thought is, I'd expect some people might actually go ahead and do this. Do something like that, also put it off to its side, because there's so many cases where, you know, that's also a look, so it's like it's the across the back of Link. But the idea is I'm designing it to be straight on. This is how I think of it. Got a lot of flair. Gosh, I'm almost ambitious with this idea to make a third pin that these both clasp into. Ugh. Then that other one would have to be 4 inches just to fit the 3-inch long sword into it. My goodness. But how I have it is it's a ratio of like a 1 to like 1 to half, or yeah, 0.5 to 1 is the how the shield and sword work. So the shield will always be half of the distance, or half the length, or half of what the sword should be to fit. So if I really wanted to make this both, like, let's make the sword 2 inches, then I should make the shield a single inch. Which, again, I keep thinking about like that. The baby is an inch. And that should be an inch from this side to this side, so this sideways is an inch. The longer of the two sides is an inch. So if that's the case, that's how big that Hyrule Shield would be. And that's why part of me goes like, really? Because like these are 1.25. I don't know. I'd also like to see what people think. If making this bigger would actually be a better idea. But I think 3 inches to 1.5 inches, and making it a series of 2 pins that work together. clutch. We have silver. So the lines across this would all be silver. See, I could also make the sword more of just a black nickel. So silver for the shield, and then black. Black nickel for the sword, which would also act like a ink outline that has a shimmer and shine to it. My problem is that hilt is a little too busy with the threading. That might effectively change everything. Oh gosh, we are a half hour past. Well, I got my sketches done. I got my idea done. That's the bigger point. So we got the sketches done. The sketches done, I knew it was going to be a big task because it's really where I need to plan out and make some of my final choices. So I have to. I'm glad I got those sketches done. The sketches are done. Next week I'll do the inking and do some do it all in do a vector version of this. It's not necessarily a normal inking. It'll be just making vector lines, translating it into that, and then getting color across, getting that all up in it. So yeah, this is coming together. Like I said, that hilt though, the hilt might be a little too much, and it's only with the hilt tie, because that threading portion, there's so many lines that could be lost in translation that really caused me an issue of like, it's part of the design. It shows that it's a hilt, but it does add a fourth color, which it's almost, it's not a bad choice, but it's so little amount of a fourth color that I'm almost thinking that I should probably, if the diamond is going to be like a gold yellow, then I'd just make those gold yellow. The hilt will be all blue, the sword will be a silver white. Yeah, I think that might be it. Yeah, so for that sword, it's gonna be a blue, and I'll have to figure out which version of blue I want. Blue, then the white, silver, the blade, then the gold. Hilt. And then there, I made my notes on that. There. I think I've gotten a big idea, and I know this. I know the shield itself is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 colors. So I already know that that's 4, because it's got to be 4 colors. So I'm cool with that. Yeah, I think we got this. Well, thank you for joining. Kayla ended a little bit early, but I hope she's doing well. She did have her first shot of the vaccine, and it's definitely kicking her butt. Like it did me too. I went through both of them and was pretty miserable afterwards with fatigue. And I didn't get a fever, but I definitely felt like I was, yucky. But again, thank you for joining. This is the first little step of designing enamel pins. And again, if you have an opportunity to drop in, talk, please do. I'm more than willing to confess all of the stuff that I went through to make that first one, but I'm also very much like, I didn't have a rough time with it. I actually went pretty smoothly. The people I worked with to actually make it were very, very helpful. I tried to keep my design simple. I knew what I wanted. I was able to present them quite a bit up front, and luckily the person I was working with was very good about taking my design and then redoing it in how they needed the information. So that was a big amount of help, is seeing how they broke it down, how they look at it. And I was like, okay, well then I'll keep that in mind, because I think I'll do the same thing, because I will break it down to front and back and have that already ready to present to them this next time. And slowly but surely learn the process a bit more, and even push the limit of what I can do with some of these enamel pins. Like this one, I'm using a metal magnetic clutch that I want, because I really, really, really want to see these two combine in some form. And who knows if this will work out exactly as expected. May or may not. But it also is dependent, like, what they feel like they can do and how much I can afford. So some of my ambitious ideas might have to wait for a more financially capable me to fund the whole design, as well as the amount, which then comes out to, I would love to sell them. Love to not only do I design these, for myself, because I like pins. You can't see this big mound of pins. See them all? That's only a portion of them too. I really do need to invest in another and a sash or something to present them all. A nice jacket for myself. It's all my pin jacket. But I appreciate y'all for coming out. Tune in next week. Next week we'll like I said, I'll go into Illustrator and how I organize the file, and I feel like we'll get through a lot more. I did spend a good portion of the first half of this kind of explaining, going over the designs of the Octoroks, and then easing into this nice little project. Show you me designing the Master Sword for this piece, and trying to blend a few of the styles of the sword, as well as the line design, because the line design in the end is dictating what portion of the enamel is going to be raised, so they can fill in the sections with the actual color, because that's inevitably what's going to happen. And I do plan on making these hard ones, because I do want that shine, because I want the sword and I want the shield to shine. So they're going to be metal enamel pins for sure, not like the soft enamel ones, which are really great, because those are good for like making nice little cross hatches and certain other designs, because they have the sunk in kind of feel. So I do know, like, thinking about those, you get the lighting to just hit them right. They generate their own little shadow across it, but it's not how everyone's going to see it. They're going to usually see it in a nice natural flat light, with enough lighting around it where it's all coming in from several angles. And unless that person's at a harsh little harsh light coming from one direction in a very noirish way, that pin won't just show that little shadowing. But that's a whole aesthetic. Like I said, I constantly think about the little things of how I can design that pin to make it a little bit different. So this one's a pretty it's an ambitious idea, but still simple. I feel like it'll come out very, very well. Like those, I worked with Vivi Pins. I plan on working with them again. Again, they do not sponsor me. I did not ask them to sponsor. I don't plan on asking them, but they were the company I've worked with first, that I found their pricing to be very good. I found their staff that I worked with very, very helpful. So I'll continue on, and not only that, but the price was really good for what I was looking for, being, starting off, and they they broke it down all on their website to see like these are the features, these are the different types you can ask for, different clasps, different pin backings, different like custom design or coins or like anything. So there's so many choices. It was really cool. So I really enjoyed working with them. I plan on doing it again for this one. But you know, one of those things, I need to shoot off the email to him saying, hey, I have this crazy idea, and here's my design, here's what I'm working with. But I want to get into Illustrator. I want to make an Illustrator file, make the colors, and then ship it off to him and say, hey, I got this idea, and then work with him and see if we can make it happen. Because I'd love to bring those to really cool Comic-Con on August 7th out in the Dort Center, which is out in Flint. So please, you know, if you have an opportunity to come out on August 7th, come on by, say hi. See all the other vendors that have like been absent from our lives for the past year to really come out and see us. Yeah, see us all. And at the same time, we always enjoy, you know, seeing everyone come through. And I'm looking forward to the cosplays, because that's always amazing. The amount of work that an individual fan puts into some of that stuff is just absolutely mind-blowing and just absolutely great. So I'd love to see your cosplay if you have a chance. But yeah, again, really cool Comic-Con. If you haven't already looked them up their Facebook. Have Really Cool Comic-Con. Check them out. So I will wrap this up. Again, if you have a chance, do hit like, do hit, you know, share. It helps us out, you know, find other people that enjoy these kinds of things, that are also curious themselves. So why not? It's just a growing process, you know. We all could, you know, grow up a little bit, right? Just a little bit, not too much. We're all children at heart, right? All right. So with that, this is the BoogieMan dancing on out of here. I'll catch you critters later. Bye.